Welcome back to Studio F, where on Fast Times Willy B, we'll step back to 1979 and review The Warriors. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Russell!
Welcome back to Fast Times Willy B. I'm Willy B. I've got Rosie with me. Rosie, how we doing?
Good, glad to be back.
So today we'll be stepping back to 1979 and taking on this week's poll winner, The Warriors, directed by Walter Hill. Cast-wise, a lot of people that did this movie and not much else after, but
Yeah.
David Patrick Kelly and Michael Beck, definitely the two biggest names in this film. David Patrick Kelly, also the bad guy in The Crow. So if you're looking for a familiar face in the bad guy role, he's your guy. But we'll start with the good. And I think the thing that I would say is the best part of this movie is probably just the aesthetic of it.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies that very similar to The Crow,
Uh-huh.
where you're watching the entire time and it has a good color palette, just a good use of color in general, and it's kind of hypnotizing to watch just because it looks so good on the screen. A lot of uses of, obviously, this movie takes place over the course of the night, similar to The Crow, where you're getting a lot of nighttime shots and a lot of accents with the reds and the oranges and fires, and obviously a movie about gang violence, there's fires, there's fights, and it's just, and then the Warriors obviously notorious wearing their red vests.
Right.
So just that color palette kind of just all clashes together and just makes, honestly, a really cool looking watch.
Yeah, I love a good aesthetic, especially in the movies from, you don't get that very often in movies today, so it was nice to see that aesthetic.
Yeah. Something else I like about this movie, only an hour and 24 minutes long, so it's a quick, easy watch. Pacing's definitely in the good. It just takes place over the course of a night.
Yeah.
And, you get your conclusion taking place as the sun's rising on the beach, but it's just, I always love a movie where you're in it for one night and you're following along on this adventure.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a lot of movies where it takes place over the course of years, takes place over the course of days, months, whatever it be. This one is one of those movies that you just stand out because you're spending the night with the Warriors.
Right.
And another movie that similar to that is Halloween, which we just did last week. Me and
Right.
Corey did last week. And there's something about those movies that also just sticks out, and they're fun because, just like I said, it feels like you're spending the night with this group of people and you're just following along on their adventure. It feels like you're listening to a story they tell.
Yeah, I like it because you also can get really you get to know each of the characters a little bit. I mean, they don't do a whole lot of talking in this one, like their background and stuff, but it's kind of cool. You get to, I don't know, become more familiar with each of the characters as the night goes on, which is kind of cool too.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of character arc and building in the sense that we're following these guys and they really have time to change their character.
Right.
But you still learn enough about these characters to see how their ending makes sense. Like, for instance, I can't think of his name, but you get the one that is hot-headed the whole time, and he kind of he goes after Swan and wanting to be the war chief right after we lose Cleon in the Cyrus debacle.
Right.
And you can tell that he's a hothead, and you just get the feeling he's going to get himself into trouble.
Yeah.
And he does. He's like, I'm going to go back after that girl. Girl ends up being undercover, locks him to the park bench. He gets put in the back of a crop cruiser. So you could tell that his, hot-headedness and stuff was like that was going to lead to his demise. Now, he doesn't die, so that's, it didn't kill him, but he got caught, and it's his fault.
Right.
And then same with you never get a read on Swan. So this whole time when you have this, what's him and Mercy? What are they? You never know what's going to happen in each scene with them because she's a woman of the streets, and he's now the war chief of this gang that's just trying to get home, and you can tell he doesn't really say much about who he is.
Right.
And so they get a nice little ending, though. You get some smirks from them, which is the most happiness you see in this movie.
For sure.
But I just think this is a cool movie because it's, the movie starts with this giant meeting of thousands of gang members, and you have this one, the guy that's leading the biggest gang, and he's saying we need to come together and take over our turf together and is trying to enact a truce, and that's where you get Luther, who's played by David Patrick Kelly, who shoots him down, blames it on the Warriors, and then from there, it's a ride.
Yeah.
We get some fun gangs
Yeah.
along the way, some gang fights. We get the Orphans first. We get the Baseball Furies, which is probably my favorite group, just because they have baseball bats. They're kind of a little unsettling because, like you mentioned,
their makeup.
Yeah, and they don't talk. You're like, I don't like that.
It was very Art the Clown-esque.
Yeah.
With, like, the face painting and, like, the mime-ish.
Yeah.
Like, not speaking. I was like, ooh, that's kind of creepy.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we get a run in with the Lizzies, too, which is a fun one because you kind of feel like, oh, the Warriors got a break.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they lock the door and all hell breaks loose.
Right.
But who ended up being, who would you say is your favorite gang? I'd probably say the Baseball Furies is my favorite, like, scene.
I don't know. I don't think I had one.
No?
No. I wish we would have gotten more.
Okay.
Because, like, in the, like, title sequence, you get, like...
All of them walking up
to which is so cool, and I want to, like, know about them.
Yeah. And like, in the trailer, too, you're like, you got the boppers.
Yeah, I was like, where are the boppers with their hot pink fluorescent jackets?
Yeah.
But I wish that's one of the things so I don't really have, I wish I would have gotten to know a couple more of them a little bit longer.
I like all the fights we get, though. I mean, even the limited interactions, like the Turnbull ACs chasing them up the stairs, a couple run-ins with the cops. One of the saddest moments in this movie is definitely when the cop throws one of the Warriors in front of the train.
Yeah.
I could see the shock in your face.
And I was like, what the heck? I was not ready. I did not realize that, like, I don't know. First time watcher, so I don't know.
Yeah, the only Warrior will lose, and then obviously the one that's arrested.
Cleon too at the beginning.
Oh yeah, Cleon too. Yes, we lose 3 Warriors, 1 to the cops and 2 to end of life. But, that's something. Cleon is somebody I wish we could have gotten more of.
Yeah, I agree.
But
it was too early, I feel.
But it definitely builds the tension off the rip. It is a very tense movie. Mm-hmm. I mean, for 84 minutes, you're watching, basically a chase. And it's cool, too, because until the Lizzies, the Warriors have no idea that they're being framed for the death of Cyrus. They're just running through all these territories, and they think that these people are attacking them because they're on their turf.
Right.
So I think that's another cool touch, is that the Warriors have no idea that they're being hunted because of that. Mm-hmm. Something I've always loved about this movie is the radio interjections.
Yeah.
Like after each and every fight, they report back to the Riffs, and the Riffs let the radio know, get the message out. Oh, the Furies, they swung and missed. They made an error. They let them get by.
Yeah.
And then they play a song for the Warriors, and I just have always thought that was a cool little touch. Mm-hmm. You never see anything other than the microphone, her lips and teeth, and the vinyl. Which I think is really cool, too. It just makes it more ominous.
Yeah, it adds to the aesthetic, too, like the time period. and
very 70s. Yeah. And I love it. I always love the radio interjections. And then, the final face-off, too. I love the hiding in the little house that they hide in, and you got Luther coming up, clanking the bottles together, and you get the Warriors come out to play. And
very
he just
iconic.
Gets more and more, very iconic. This is probably the quote from the movie that everybody knows without seeing the movie, especially where we're from with the Cavs and the Warriors, with their rivalry that went on for so long.
Right.
When the Cavs made that comeback in 2016, a lot of people put Draymond and Steph Curry's faces over the Warriors and put LeBron over Luther, saying Warriors come out to play. So that was a little meme going around here in the
I've never
Ohio
seen those.
area.
That's funny. That makes sense.
So that's how a lot of people in our area that have never seen the Warriors know that quote. But definitely an iconic scene. And then it takes them to the beach. You ask for the one-on-one. You get the dip duck, and then you throw the knife in the arm. Mm-hmm. And that's when the Riffs show up, and you just know that.
I didn't know what was going to happen at that point because I know that they.
We have a guy who saw who killed
Cyrus. Right. He reported, but I wasn't sure, like, because like people say stuff, so like how Yeah. I didn't know if like he was gonna believe the guy that came and told him prior, but I really wasn't sure what was gonna go on there when they were all standing on the beach.
Yeah.
Because they came like guns blazing.
They came deep too.
They were deep.
And I love that scene because you get the little interaction between the Warriors and the Riffs, and they're like, "You're good," and that's when Swan gets to go the best. Mm-hmm. and then they get their send off into the sunset.
Yeah.
And you just know, you don't get to see, but you know the Rift's just ripped into Luther and his guys. Yeah. I would imagine that everybody in that gang doesn't see the next day.
Yeah.
But the Rifts too. I mean, they're a gang I love. We don't get to see much of them violence wise, but like their presence in the movie is there. They are the big bads.
Mm-hmm.
They're the gang of the film, and so they're the ones communicating with the radio station. They're the ones just putting it out there like we're going after the Warriors. They did it until they get the intel that it was actually Luther and his goons that shot down Cyrus. But yeah, it's just a movie that it doesn't have a lot of substance in the sense of like character development and stuff like that, but it's just such a good watch. It's aesthetically pleasing. It's a vibe. It's an interesting story, even though you don't get depth from the characters. You still have fun following along with the Warriors and getting them home. Other things in the good, I love set design. I think everywhere a fight happens is cool, from the Lizzie's hideout to the park with the baseball Furies to the subway station. I love the subway scenes we get in this movie. Some cool, city shots with overhangs and bridges over top, and when they throw the bomb into the car and blow up a couple of the orphans. That sounds bad. The orphans is the gang. They didn't blow up.
No.
Some
Children.
kids with no parents. Yeah.
Right.
But all of it, like the set design's really good. I mean, that's probably my favorite part of the movie is just walking around in this big city and
70s New York City.
Yeah.
You get to see all the boroughs because they're traveling, and
you follow along on the map too, which is cool.
I love seeing like all of like the subway station and like everything like graffitied and like
a lot of graffiti's cool too. And you get to see the Warriors leave their mark, which is cool.
Yeah, I wish that happened more. But we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah. So set design for sure, and honestly, costume and makeup. I know the costumes are kind of out there and vibrant, but I think they're fun. I think they make the movie what the movie is, and that goes along with the grimy, greasy aesthetic, the big city, and it just adds character to each and every one of these gangs. So I love it. I love the costumes.
I like that they're all different, and each of them have like their own like, I don't know, like certain thing that they match with. Like the one gang had like all like the denim overalls and the jackets or the hats, or they all have bald, or they're all bald. Or like I was like, my gosh, I think it's cool that like they don't like completely match, and they just have like one thing that they all like, that's their thing, which is kind of
like
cool.
The Warriors with their red
jackets.
vests, but everybody else, their hair's all done up differently. They can have leather gloves, so on and so forth. Some people have undershirts. One has a cowboy hat and he's named Cowboy. Like so they're all themselves, but they have just that tells you they're the Warriors, or they're the baseball Fury. The baseball Furies is a dead giveaway.
Yeah.
But no, I love the costume and makeup in this movie a lot.
Oh yeah.
And then I do like our characters, even though we don't get a lot of development. I love following along with Swan. I like Mercy's character a lot. I think Luther is a great bad guy.
Oh yeah. He has the bad guy vibe. I don't know. I
love most of the Warriors. I think they're all fun to hang around. You got Rembrandt, who's he's trying to get home and he's nervous the whole time. You got a couple of the guys that are mellow, and they're just like kind of relaxed. And then the Lizzie's turn. And I don't know. It's just all fun. It's just a really fun movie, which is crazy to say for a movie that's all about crime, but it's just an adventure. It really is.
It's something that like, I don't know, like I know like gangs and stuff are still like a thing, but like this, I don't know, like to me it's not like super realistic, which makes it kind of fun. Like,
oh, it definitely like
I know it has
elevates
some.
It too.
I think it obviously has some like realisticness to it, like the gangs obviously, and like trying like going after one another, like that is something that obviously happens, but like I don't know, like the sheer amount, like all meeting in one one place.
What, they had like
there was
100 gangs with 9 representatives each. So that, and then was it 1,000 gangs with 9 representatives? I
think you're right. 100 gangs.
Something like that. But they were talking about how like they have like 20,000 members
Yeah.
across the, you know.
But like the fact, like, you would never ever get all of those gangs today to meet up with nothing. I mean, obviously something happened, but like not even just like a little like fist fight between them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that would never happen.
Yeah.
And like I don't know.
Yeah.
But I like that it's kind of, I don't want to say like whimsy because it's not, but like it's kind of like probably a fantasy, I would say, of like, I don't know. I feel like that would be like a dream a gang member would have.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Something
big
and something big and bad and like different. I don't know, but it's kind of, I like it. I like the story.
Keeping along with the good, I would also throw the cinematography and direction here. I think it's very well directed by Walter Hill, and we get, like I said, a lot of it's the set design, but we get some really good shots too.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of goes along with the color grading and, you know, the aesthetic I already mentioned, but some of those big city shots are really pleasing to look at. So some great cinematography that goes along with, you know, just everything I've liked about this movie.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, you got anything else on the good?
I don't think so.
Okay. So we're going to hop over to the meh. I'll start the meh with I don't have anything in the bad.
Okay, I don't think so either. I do have a few things in the meh. I do
absolutely adore this film in the few times I've watched it. Things I'd put in the meh is I wish we got more of Cleon, which it's so tough because it adds weight to what's at stake. So it is good.
Yes.
But I don't know, Cleon just seemed like a cool character to kind of get to know.
Yeah.
So that's like a personal thing. Like I wish I got more Cleon.
Mm-hmm.
I do also wish we got more gangs. I agree.
I would just
at least all the gangs we saw in the trailer.
Yes, that is my thing. I wish that like we would have like them not introduced them.
Yeah.
And then like not given us at least a little like run in or like not even necessarily like a fight per se between the two of them, just like I wish we would have like you know, and some sort of interaction.
Yeah.
Because the trailer is really like not even like the title sequence, but like the trailer really like makes you think that like we're going to be following all of these like gangs that they mentioned in the trailer, and then you watch it and you're like, oh, well, that was kind of disappointing because I want to know about these gangs now that, you know, but
that's really it for me in the complaint department.
Yeah.
What do you got?
I had one thing in it. I forgot. It might come back to me.
I was going to say, I know some people kind of gripe with the acting. I don't have a problem with it.
No, I don't think so either.
It's like Halloween for me. I don't think it's anything. It's not by any means acting that's going to win awards or anything like that, but it doesn't bother me.
I don't. I mean, I think I thought in my head, like, maybe once or twice, I was like, ooh, I don't like the way, like, that, like, what they said landed. But I also think, like, it was the 70s. So, like, things are different. And, like, I don't know. Just the way, like, some people, like, I don't know. Sometimes I'm just like, ooh, that didn't fit. Like, what they said didn't fit. And, like, but, I don't know. It wasn't anything, like, is going to knock it down points for me or whatever, so.
For sure. So, then we can hop over to our final thoughts and ratings. What do you want to leave off?
I really wish I could remember what I was going to say, but.
What do you want to leave off with the Warriors, and what do you give out of 10?
Good first watch. Very fun. Which, again, is weird to say, because it's all about bad guys doing bad things. But, I don't know. It was interesting. A nice, quick showing, which is good for me. But I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.
Okay. For me, I'm going to go with a 9 out of 10. I do really enjoy this movie. This is just one of those movies that it would be a good background movie. Because it's not by any means that has something that has enough substance to where you need to really pay attention the whole 84 minutes. But it's got a good feel to it. It's an easy watch. It's a nice watch. It's a cool watch. It's, you know, if you like some fun action mixed in with just a gang adventure story, this is for you. And I had a really good time with this one. So I'm going to go 9 out of 10. It's up there. It's one of those movies I really, really enjoy.
Yeah.
And even on a rewatch, I found myself liking it just as much, if not more, on the second watch. So, very good movie. We're continuing through. That was our last movie of the 70s.
Woohoo.
So we moved to the 80s next, but the 70s were really good to us.
I mean, lots of good watches.
From 70 to 79, the worst score I gave was an 8. So
all right,
we're enjoying everything that's getting voted for. So that's good. Few repeat watches, but there were some new watches.
Yeah.
Close Encounters of the Third Kind was a first time watch for myself, along with 5 Easy Pieces. I actually think that's it.
Yeah.
I think the rest were repeat watches, but all of them were repeat watches I don't mind making. They were all very good. That'll do it for The Warriors. Rosie, thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Thank you all for watching. If you like what you're watching, check out some other videos. Hit the subscribe button or follow the social links down below. Make sure you vote this Wednesday into Thursday for the 4 1980 movies that will be presented Wednesday. And let us know what you think of The Warriors. We'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.
Peace and love.